Here we are, you guys. The crowd's grown a little bit while I had my back turned. Yeah, it's quite all right. That's good. We want more. And so what we're gonna do is take just a moment to visualize inside of ourselves that more attitude, with these seats filled. And I want you to see those seats filled. And then we're going to visualize and know that is the greater yet to be for Unity of Pasadena. And as we see that, we recognize that we must take action if we expect this to move forward in a way that makes sense for Unity of Pasadena. And that taking action means that we just give those people we didn't see today a call. We just give them a call and we ask how they're doing, make sure that they're okay, and let them know that we missed you. And we also get a chance to talk to our friends and our neighbors and our coworkers about this amazing feeling here at Unity of Pasadena and what we learn and what we become. For our religion is one of transformation. Our religion is one of moving forward in a way that makes sense, that is aligned with the divinity of not only this world, but of us. And so we know that in prayer. Thank you very much for engaging in prayer with me, for that really truly is a prayer. These words truly are a prayer. So I release them, I let them go, and so it is, amen. So, lots of things going on in this world. And I'm going to talk about some of them today. I'm going to talk about me a little bit. I'm going to talk about how in my life I know that this is a time to utilize some divine principles which are impersonal, and I'm going to talk about that today. They're impersonal. But I can personalize them in a way that makes sense for me. And that's what we can all do. There are principles that, in fact, God as principle is impersonal. But these principles that are impersonal means that God acts upon you and upon you and upon you and upon me in exactly the same way, according to our thoughts, according to our feelings, according to the actions we take upon them. And God is impersonal in the sense that if it's bad for me, if my thoughts and my actions and that which I move forward upon is bad for me, God doesn't stop me and say, that's bad for you. This is not going to work out for you. No. It happens because this process has been set in motion. This is what the Bible verse Matthew 5:25 is all about. God makes the rain fall on the evil as well as the good. I mean, this is happening. This is happening according to an impersonal law. And I'll give you an example of that. I have a friend, and I have lots of friends now who are getting older. I don't know why that's happening to them. I don't know. But I have a friend who, just the other day, he fell. And we had a nice conversation about that. And he's okay. But he started this conversation out with, I think God is trying to tell me something. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, this is a perfect time for this conversation because I'm doing a talk on the impersonal God that is you, the impersonal God that is all that is, and how we personalize it. And I said to him, you can take it however you want it. It's true, yes, for you, that something is being said. But gravity works for everybody. Gravity works for everybody. And the way you probably used this, or personalized this gravity thing was just to not pay attention as you were walking down those steps. You personalized it, and it happened. It is gravity in action, that impersonal universal law that took you down. Sorry, I don't know what lesson you learned from it. I hope it's a good one. I hope it's a really good one. But I think if it has something to do with paying attention, then we're getting somewhere, But this God that is so amazing and expresses in an infinite number of ways does not tell you don't do that. It doesn't stop you from doing things that are really bad for you. I mean, most of us have had bad habits in our lives. And many of us have been able to shed them. And it's a wonderful process that we learn how to do. You know, we learn how to make changes in our lives. It's terrific. We change what we think. We change how we view the world. We change so many things that are important to the change process. So come on inside. Come on in. Come on in. You're too far away. Yes. So she was behind the curtain. You know, we have a curtain there, and so I just welcome you in. Welcome. So yesterday, Jackie and I participated in something that we believe, if utilized in the right way, might be able to create some change. And this was a local No Kings march. Call it a march if you want. Call it whatever you want. An assembly of people getting together and letting the world know that we care. It was a beautiful, beautiful meeting of people. It was not a group of people who hated America. It was a group of people who love America. In fact, I brought my sign. I held a sign so that people could see it as they were driving along the road. Here it is. See, that's my sign. No hate. Now, you attach a little American flag right here in this little hole that was created, you know, and it looks like this. And you can honk your horn if you want. You can honk your horn as I hold this sign. And there were other signs out there that were funny. Some were very funny. Some were very serious. But they were all made in this general way. You know, you take a piece of paper or cardboard and you draw something. I mean, nobody created them except the mind of the person holding the sign, you know. And so they got to say a lot of things that were really, really important to them. And this space that we were at was kind of an interesting place because we live in Chino Hills. And in Chino Hills, there is a large church there. It's the Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills Calvary Chapel, and it hosts a lot of summits and conferences for some interesting thought processes around where we ought to be today. And there was a group of people at a summit at the same time as this location for No Kings was going on that were putting out, as a televised conference, information about how horrible each of us were at that particular location. And none of it was true. These were absolutely beautiful people. There was no Antifa. There was no Hamas supporters. There was no... I mean, I don't know what those people look like, and I've never seen one that anything like this ever. So this is not what was going on there, and I don't believe it was what was going on anywhere. But they brought with them, and this blows me away that it was associated with a church. And I know who the pastor of the church is. His name is Jack Hibbs. And they brought with them security, their own security. And their own security were the Proud Boys. And yes, absolutely. And I am so, I'll use the word proud. I'm so proud of the people that were standing by the side of the road just being peaceful because they were not deterred from that peaceful activity. They could not be goaded into violence at all by the Proud Boys. There were police officers there that could see that they were trying to goad the crowd into some sort of violent activity and actually put a stop to it. I was very, very happy that those police officers stepped in and saw exactly what was going on. So this was a very interesting, unique, and special opportunity to see our First Amendment in action and restrained by love and restrained by the idea that we heal behind no hate. We can't heal with hate. Hate does not heal us. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I think it's important. It was important for us, at least, to involve ourselves in this, and to do it in this way, of course. You guys know that I probably have a little bit more information than most around the ideas that are being set forth in our legal profession, as well as some of the things that leak over into law enforcement ideas. And I just want to tell you what I see. And this is not political, it's telling you what I see. It's conversations I have had with people, by the way, in law enforcement and prosecutorial offices, and I do a lot of work with them. They're not left-wingers, left-wing crazies. They are not left-wing crazies at all. They most often err on the side of conservatism. They really do. And that's okay. It's a wonderful thing, but they are miffed. They're absolutely miffed right now. The prosecutors that I talk to are very, very concerned. They're concerned that the public ideal of what prosecution is nowadays has changed so dramatically through all of the Department of Justice and all of the FBI transactions that are happening today that seem to be targeted in a political way, that are manufacturing evidence. They're concerned that that will leak over into local prosecutions, that people will not trust law enforcement and the reports that they write, and won't trust that the prosecutorial authorities are operating in good faith. And they're concerned about ever getting a conviction again because of what's going on. Now, this is a complete and total destruction of the norms that we would expect to see in arenas like prosecutorial and police work. The police that I talk to are extremely concerned about how they are, in the public perception, being lumped with police agencies that now hire thugs who don't have any training whatsoever. And when they write reports about maybe being assaulted by somebody like the people at this type of rally, they don't write the truth. And the police officers, local police officers, are very upset about that because they get lumped into that same category as they do, as these other police agencies do. And so they're concerned about their own public perception. I can understand that. I truly understand that. You know, how do you separate yourself from that without somehow speaking out about how it's bad? Because I don't think they're allowed to do that either. It's a very tough situation they're in. Our military is an extremely tough situation. You know, I think that everybody I know, would, when seeing an active duty military, any active duty military personnel would say thank you for your service. Now they're running from them. Now people are running from them. Not thank you for your service, but I'm afraid of you. National Guard in the streets, Marines coming in. This is the kind of thing, when it operates against the people, turns the tables on the support that's received. I mean, look, if military doesn't have the support of the people here in this country, then we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble as a country. And that is the road we're heading down. That's the road we're heading down. This has got to change. It is a 5-alarm fire. It's happening inside the house. Fortunately, I'm good at change, and I'm good at inspiring change. I know the drill. The drill is to do my own personal work in this regard. The drill is to use that impersonal law, that universal law, in a way that co-creates with God something that's personal in my life. You see, that's the link between an impersonal God and what I'd like to see in my life, in my world. what I'd like to see in the world of unity of Pasadena. That link is take this impersonal law that creates according to my thoughts, my feelings, my activities, and make something good out of it. Make something good out of it. That's the co-creation process. God and I are co-creating together. God and you are always co-creating together. And you say, oh, that's a bunch of bunk. And I say, read Genesis. Read Genesis. We're made in the image and likeness of God. God spoke everything there is into existence. We can too. This is how we use the word. And what is the word? What is the word? Well, it's not just the things I say out of my mouth. I mean, sometimes I can make mistakes and I need to utilize the Ho'oponopono prayer, and thank you for that, Helen. The things that I say sometimes are outside of the realm of impeccability. We love be impeccable with your word. Don Miguel Ruiz is absolutely right. Because your word's creative. That's why he says that. Your word is creative. But it's not just what comes out of your mouth, it's what you think. It's the tendency of your thought. You see, if the tendency of your thought is hateful, then hateful actions are on their way. If the tendency of your thought is loving, then loving actions are on their way. You see, we co-create, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we are in that space where we're creating what is best for the world, what is best for ourselves, what is best for the ongoing unfoldment of the beauty we know is possible. We all play a role in that. We all play a role in that. And so yesterday, we could not be stopped from going to this thing. You could not have stopped us. I mean, all the traffic that was there. And I don't need to tell you why now, because I just did. 5-alarm fire. There's a 5-alarm fire, and we know the drill. We know what we have to do. We know how we have to unfold as people who show they care, who recognize what's necessary, who move forward in that space and get it done. By virtue of our consciousness, by virtue of our activity. I'm James. I am Jesus' brother who says, you better get out there and do something. I mean, I think he's responsible for the Nike swoosh, just do it, Really. I mean, it's biblical. I look at that Nike swoosh and I go, that's biblical. And just do it, for crying out loud. Just do it. So I'm not alone in this ideal. I'm not alone in this feeling that this is how things work. I mean, here at Unity, what we do is we talk about what our founders thought too, because and we're allowed to use this kind of stuff in a way that makes sense for us. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. But we start with this. Charles Fillmore, on this very principle, in The Revealing Word, says, God is the name we give to the unchangeable principle, which is the source of all existence. God as principle is impersonal, the absolute, the unchanging law of being. And then he talks about in this next quote from Jesus Christ Heals, that God is not a person who has set creation in motion and gone away and left it. God is the omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent principle forever expressing as life, love, and substance. And how do we deal with that? Well, you need to go to Prosperity, which is one of Charles Fillmore's books. And he says, God is the eternal, unchangeable principle of good, the source of all that is. This principle is not a person, but the underlying cause of all manifestation working through divine law and each of us. Co-creation. I think, and you can tell I'm passionate about this. I hope you can tell I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate, though, in a way that I know will not put you off, because I'm talking about a higher good for everyone. I'm not talking about whether you're bad or you're hateful or you're not. I'm talking about a higher good for everyone. I'm talking about stepping into the light. I'm not talking about eradicating anything. I'm talking about moving forward as a new and different creative force. The power that we're given as human beings in the 12 powers of man. Charles Fillmore writes all about this power. The utilization of all that God is possible through us, including finding ourselves in that divine light as the emanation of the beauty and love and joy of the Christ consciousness. We can do all of that, and we can teach people how to do it. Do you know how we teach people how to do it? We don't go out and say, this is what you do. This is what you're doing it wrong. Everything you're doing is wrong. That's not how we teach people. We teach people through example. Funny how that works. We have 6 kids, and 10 grandchildren. And boy, do they all watch us. I mean, we don't even know they're watching us. Oh, Grandpa, you did this. You did that. Oh, man, am I being followed around? The example of Grandpa, the example of Dad, the example that I have an opportunity to set every place I go, everything I do is instructive. I mean, if it was in some way hateful, I would give permission for other people to let that hate out of them. Do you understand what I mean? Giving other people permission to do something that is just horrific in society by actually doing it is something that each of us needs to watch. I mean, we all know that the people at the top set the example. And we must be careful when we are at the top, and you guys are at the top. You know, the fact that you're here, you're at the top of conscious thought. You're at the top of the pyramid of what people do in order to move a transformative consciousness forward. You guys understand this. You don't blindly fumble through life. You recognize what this creative process is about, and so you watch what you do. And you help others, not hurt them. This is your personalization of an impersonal law. You know, this topic that I chose is a tough one to understand. Sometimes people don't get this idea that, God's not directing the chess game. Every piece on the board's not being moved by God. I mean, God doesn't whisper in your ear and say, that's going to checkmate there, you're in trouble with that one. It's funny sometimes to watch football games, and I do it on Sunday, and I enjoy a good game. But I always find it kind of funny when, every team has a God that's on their side. And I think that might be a motivating force for them, might help them feel like they can go into this, kind of pretend battle, with the armor of God. I understand that. I totally get that. I mean, it might make the game a little more active, believing that, God's on your side. But most people in that arena do. And I just chuckle. I just give a chuckle, it's a game. It's a game. Gravity works the same way and magnetism and polarity and all those other forces, that are at work when two big people run into each other. It works the same way for everyone, for crying out loud. It's funny. People say, I don't know. I think God really does it. Well, go stick your finger in a light socket, and see whether or not God's on your side. I mean, it's pretty Easy to see once you step back for a moment. Recognize that this law of electricity, it can either light your room or it can kill you. And before we really got a handle on it, it killed a lot of people. So it's an impersonal law. It doesn't care that you're a good person, Steve. It's still going to get you if you put your finger in a light socket. Doggone that electricity. Yeah, this world is a table set for us. It is a table set for us. And we can create in our lives anything that we'd like to see. But most importantly, anything that we'd like to feel, because that has something to do with what you create that you see in your life. We have to pay attention to this idea of love. We have to pay attention to this idea of compassion. We have to pay attention to the words of Jesus, for he did this as well or better than anybody that's ever lived on the face of this earth. And there were things going on then, and this is why it's such a beautiful story, that you would think would make those ideas impossible. Impossible. But they weren't, and they aren't. And they're not impossible today. They're not impossible here and now. And so, you couldn't have kept us away. You could not have restrained us. We wouldn't have let you do it. We did not know what to expect, but we knew it had to be done. And I know you guys feel the same way. What is ours to do? I ask myself that question. What is mine to do? I ask it all the time. And sometimes I need clarity. I have to align myself with this divine presence, get silent, do my prayer work, do my meditation, do my affirmations, and recognize what really is mine to do. I have to be open for that clarity. And so here we are, folks. We are operating as one, and I love it. We're in the love light. We're in the beauty. We're in the presence of God. And I'm so grateful for that. I say namaste because the God in you recognizes the God in me and vice versa. Thank you.